really don't know.
Look at that guy's fur coat. That's sick.
It is a pretty cool coat.
Yeah.
But,
Hold on. Maybe he's waiting for help. Hold on.
hey,
Can I help you, sir?
Is Slacks around? Or Bones?
Slacks. Let me see.
I think they're on duty. I'm just unsure where.
Bones. Let me. What's your name?
Steven. Steven Clark.
Stephen Clark. All right, Mr. Clark. Let me see if I can find somebody for you. What was your interest in them?
In which one?
Either one.
I just wanted to ask them some questions about becoming a police officer.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe I can answer some of those for you.
Sure. Do you know if the penal code is state law?
Do I know if the penal code is state law? Well, let me see. Tell you the truth, I'm not an attorney. I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer this for you. They tell me to enforce the laws, I enforce them, right? So
If you don't know what the laws are, how do you enforce the laws?
okay, well, I know the charges that we apply, right? So I don't know necessarily whether or not that the penal code is state or city or whatever, or county, I guess I should say. I just know that I was hired to do a job, and I do it to the best of my ability.
Oh,
Mr. Stevens, is that a gotcha moment, or are you actually trying to know?
No, I'm asking.
Okay, well,
I definitely
thankfully
don't know.
I've written down a few notes of the Los Angeles Constitution. Under Article 3, I believe, under the section of standard conditions for bail, it states that the penal code is of San Andreas.
It says the penal code is San Andreas, or just the
It says San Andreas penal
should
code.
be followed.
That's what it said.
Right, but would that indicate there's no other penal codes?
There's no other penal codes mentioned anywhere else in legislation to my knowledge, so the assumption is the penal code is the San Andreas penal code.
I guess it would make sense that all laws in the San Andreas penal code would be laws of the state.
That would be the assumption, yes.
Out of curiosity, do either of you know what rebelling would mean? If you were to rebel against the anything, actually, just to rebel.
That's actually a good point. It's not specifically defined, so any interpretation of it could be correct.
Well, rebelling in what sense, right? Like you're gonna.
Oh, he's referring to the treason charge.
To the treason, yeah.
It's emphasized inside it that it says the Senate, but also of the laws. So any laws of the state could also be treason if you were to rebel against them. So, if I was to go and get in a fast vehicle and purposely speed through the city in a race, would I not be rebelling against the laws?
I'd have to see the exact verbiage of that. That does not sound reasonable at all. You would not be getting charged treason. Otherwise, everybody would be doing that. That doesn't make sense.
Yes. Otherwise, everybody would be doing that if everything was the letter of the law, not just some of them.
What was the? Let's see. Is this under the Constitution that you saw this?
No, treason is in the penal code.
Oh, are you talking about the actual charge definition? Let me see. Whoever engages in and or incites others to participate in rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the state of San Andreas. So your definition of rebellion is just breaking the law.
Well,
is not adhering to it.
By definition, is to go against something knowingly.
Going against the authority of the state of San Andreas.
Well, it says in there that the state of San Andreas, for this logic, shall be the state senate, the senators, and also the laws of the state. And if the penal code
And or
is
laws
of
of the
San
state, yeah.
Andreas and it is the state of San Andreas, would they not be the laws of the state?
Rebellion and insurrection against the authority of the state of San Andreas. Authority of the state of San Andreas shall be considered for the purpose of the statute to include the Senate and or the laws of the state. That is poorly written.
Well,
Yeah, under letter of the law, you'd be correct.
Yeah.
correct. So I'm curious as to why I'm the only person that's been charged for treason in Los Santos.
So you were not Stephen Clark?
No.
Yeah. All right. What was your name again? Soze, right?
Hmm.
Mr. Soze, I follow the case loosely. I cannot tell you why you were charged with treason exactly.
Well,
I can
I can explain that to you.
sure.
Because they don't use the letter of the law when they want to, and they use the letter of the law when they do want to. So they can bend the law in any way they want, even if it does void the Constitution or any other law. That's the
Fit a
beauty
narrative.
of creating a dog shit Constitution and talking about the spirit of the law and the letter of the law when you see fit. You can never be wrong if you don't want to be.
Yeah, I mean,
know-
I suppose.
I got put in jail, and the reason I was detained is because I was joyriding. I drove a police vehicle directly to the sheriff's office, which was 2 corners away, and returned the vehicle. It was in the middle of the highway, so I thought, well, this isn't safe to be here. I'd best move it to a safe spot, the most secure spot, a police department.
Mhm. So you took a vehicle that you let's say
I was
temporarily.
in.
Mhm.
Oh, you were already in the vehicle?
I was a passenger, and the driver had some sort of aneurysm, and the helicopter had to pick him up and take him to hospital, and then he went back there and called me. I don't know why he expected me to stay in the middle of a highway knowing that people drive through there 200 miles an hour. I guess that's the letter of the law you need to follow. Unless, of course, it's
So-
treason. Then you bend the law and put someone in jail for 7 days.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the person that you were with, you essentially had like an implicit consent to take their vehicle just out of the way. It was just a misunderstanding with them.
Well, it wasn't
Right.
implicit consent. It's just the factors of, being in a safe environment. I don't know what state or country, doesn't look out for the safety of others.
Right. The other person, did they agree with your story? Like, I imagine they were interviewed by another officer.
You mean Sheriff Bones?
If
How
Bones
could
was
he?
the one that arrested you for it,
Yes.
and Bones contacted the person you were discussing,
I was discussing.
the one that you just mentioned, right? The one that went to the hospital.
He was the one that went to the hospital. He was driving the vehicle. He was driving me to
Oh,
Sandy
oh,
Shores.
okay. I'm sorry. I thought he was the arresting officer. Oh,
Yeah, he said he was going to drive me to Sandy Shores, and that's when his head popped, and he came back and arrested me afterwards. Had an aneurysm or something.
and then he charged you with joyriding for just moving the vehicle.
Yes. So I took out my gun and started shooting them.
Okay, and then that's where
I
they
don't
charge you
know.
with treason for that, or
I'm not sure. I didn't really listen in the courtroom, honestly, but I thought, if you were going to go by the letter of the law with joyriding, you'd have to do it for every other one in the penal code. No.
I mean, let's see. Let's take a look at the charge for joyriding.
If you drive a vehicle without the
Taking or
the
operating
consent of an
a
owner.
vehicle without the owner's consent, without the intent to deprive the owner of the vehicle permanently,
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, letter of the
So,
law.
the logic here is I literally could have said I wanted to take the vehicle permanently.
And then it would have been a worse charge.
Well, only if I said it before I was charged. Otherwise, I could have went to court and said, no, it was my intention to keep that vehicle. And I would have had it thrown out. But Being the man of morals and not lying in a courtroom, I didn't do that.
Well, I admire that. I mean, it takes a big man to be able to, take his lumps.
No, just a man. Hey, out of curiosity, if you were to read, a charge and the penal code says joyriding, for instance, as the label, do you not take into account the word itself on the charge?
I do take into account, but I follow more. Me personally, I follow more spirit than letter.
Right,
I'm told that we have discretion, so
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm asking. Do you use the letter of the law only for the statement under the charge or the word itself? Because, if you are to look up joyriding, it would indicate that you would have tampered and stole a vehicle with the intention of driving it around for fun.
mhm.
In the dictionary, that is. But of course,
Right.
we can't expect police officers to understand the English
How to
language.
Right. Yeah. So what you're saying is that the naming of the charge is
Actually irrelevant.
inappropriate.
Well,
Yeah.
no. I mean, the judges don't care about the name of the charge. It means nothing, apparently. It's just the text under it. So it might as well be labeled penis.
So you've got 3 counts of penis right now.
Yeah, exactly what I got. 3 counts of penis fucked in the ass.
I respect it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Listen, I don't disagree with you. It's there's definitely some challenges in the charges here. This is
You know what's worse about this?
what's that?
Well, now they said it wouldn't. It's not the safest place to just park it on the side of the highway. Well, they said it would be fine to be parked there, but it would be safer if it was at the police department, which was just up the road.
Right.
And I said to them, yeah, I mean, it would be logical to go to the safest place if it's going to be the safest thing to do, to keep people safe around you. And they didn't really agree for some reason. But when I left jail, after that, they forgot to take my pistol license 3 times in a row. So when they took my pistol license, I called Bones and I said, hey, you just took my pistol license, so I'm throwing this gun on the side of the highway because it's safe there. And then he said, no, you have to bring that to PD.
I see. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
And then, just today, I was walking up the shoulder of the highway on the inner shoulder, and he pulled over and said, hey, it's not safe to be parked there.
right. And then you're like, well, okay, then I'll take it to PD. It's like, no, sure as hell don't do that.
He's an idiot. That's a
Yeah,
sheriff.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna shit talk a higher ranking officer. But I do understand your point, and it doesn't really make sense to me as far as what you're saying. I don't know. Do you have like a past history with him, or?
Yes, I used to be his commanding officer for 10 years.
Oh, I'll do it.